on July 29, 2025, just a couple weeks ago, the Attorney General Pam Bondi issued new guidance about DE&I programs that it describes as violating federal anti-discrimination laws. This memorandum applies not just to recipients of federal funding, but it broadly applies to any entity subject to the federal anti-discrimination laws, including public and private employers, schools, and contractors. And this guidance identifies specific DE&I practices that the Department of Justice considers unlawful or presumptively discriminatory, and lays out what they call 9 best practices for compliance. And basically, what it does is it declares unlawful many common DE&I practices, including race-based scholarship, hiring preferences for candidates from underrepresented groups, and training programs that rely on race or sex-based classifications. It extends potential liability to so-called proxy discrimination, where facially neutral criteria like lived experiences or geographic preferences are used to achieve outcomes without direct reference to prohibited characteristics. It targets the use of race or ethnicity to determine access to facilities or resources, including quote-unquote safe spaces, race-specific lounges, or other forms of segregation. It prohibits programs or participation eligibility criteria based on protected characteristics, such as requiring applicants to identify with a specific racial or ethnic group or limiting access based on sex. It requires oversight of third-party recipients, making grant recipients and prime contractors responsible for the practices of sub-awardees and their contractors. And it has a whistleblower provision. It encourages internal reporting and creates legal protection for employees who object to DE&I practices on anti-discrimination grounds.
When I practiced HR and was working in large corporations, we would show favor to minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. What I'm hearing here maybe is that may not be the best practice at this point.
Well, not only is it probably not the best practice at this point, for those of us who operate here in Missouri, City of St. Louis has suspended its MBE WBE program that it used to run. Employers need to make sure that they are aware of this